Sorry I didn't get to another crop update. I didn't really see the point. Nothing had really changed. So we're going right into harvest. It's September 19th, early morning here. What happened is we got a hybrid that's going down on us because, of course, the corn was cannibalizing itself. And with some of the winds that we have had, some of the corn is going down. Just mainly, I only saw that on 2 varieties so far, and I didn't feature these. I've only been featuring the Pioneer varieties, but I had 2 decal varieties. Got a 94 day that is making my wife concerned because she doesn't like to combine down corn off the ground. And so she basically is the one that made the decision, let's get that out. We went in there yesterday, late yesterday we got started, and it's around 20 to 21%. So certainly a good time to get it out if we can before we hit a big day where we get a strong wind and we're gonna have a lot more down corn. And so we're just going to have to do it. So yesterday we got started here. That's why the trucks and gravity boxes are here. So now we're on the morning of September 19th, and I got to start up the dryer. I've already tested it beforehand. When I dry fired it, made sure everything was working. And so hopefully we're in good shape here and nothing goes wrong, but the soybeans aren't quite ready to go yet. So I figured, yeah, let's go ahead and get that out. Otherwise we're going to be losing more corn on the ground. So here we go. The big day. So yesterday evening we started some corn here, took this out. So we got started with a few loads off. You're probably going to wonder what kind of yield in this dry environment are we looking at. Well, I haven't recalibrated the yield monitor from last year, so I'm not sure what the test weight is on this corn. But what it's reading, what it's telling us is I've seen it as low as around 152 in a low area, as high as 230, 235 I think it came in at, in a low area where there would have been more moisture that it would have been able to capture. So I don't know how accurate that is. I would have to bring a load into town to get it recalibrated, and they're not taking wet corn right now, so we're going to go with last year's calibration for the time being. So this morning we're going to get started, and this hybrid goes all the way over to that farm site over there. So we want to get all this corn off because it's, like I say, in areas it's breaking down. And so my wife really pushed me to get this off before we do soybeans because she doesn't like combining corn that's laying on the ground. It's not a lot of fun. Now, as I've told you in the past, she's our main combine operator. I got started, came out in the field because we got a new head, and so came out into the field and tried it out. She wanted to make sure that everything was working all right, so she wanted me to make sure everything was set okay. You can see we got ourselves a C8R Stockmaster, and so far it really does a nice job. We spent more money on our corn head because we raise more corn than we do beans. I had a little mishap when she came out to the field and I got started. She had a very disgusted look on her face, and when she has that look, I know I did something wrong. Well, I hadn't double checked, but there's clean out doors right here, right underneath here. And this one, the dealer had, you know, gone through it, the whole works and so forth, but this clean out door, it's just a little door here, got left open, and I didn't see that when I started. So we got a few ears here and there on the ground. When that happens, I know I'm in trouble, because she does not like to see an ear on the ground. It really drives you crazy. So we got through that. she reminded me I got to be more careful next time. And I think a lot of her problem is she has a pried out look. Back in 09, tell you a little story while the combine's warming up. In 09, we're combining this exact same field. And we had over 20 inches of rain that fall, and we're really having a difficult time. And we had a good 700 acres of corn to get out yet. So I came up with a plan where I would sleep 2 hours one night, and then 4 hours the next night, and then back to 2 hours a night after that, and then 4 hours, and so forth. I called it my 2-4 plan. It was working pretty good too for many days, until I was getting so tired, and she had been combining for about 14 hours, so I thought I'd just take over for her and give her a little bit of a break. As soon as I did that, I forgot where I had parked the gravity boxes. I was so tired I wasn't really thinking very well, and when I was backing up, all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, where are those gravity boxes? Well, just when I had stopped, I had just hit the gravity box with the back plastic shield in the back. It didn't hurt the gravity box at all because that's just a plastic piece. Bad part is that plastic piece at that time cost $2,000. So with a $1,000 deductible, I still had to pay the $1,000 deductible and get that replaced. But the worst part is that came the next day, and that was in the middle of the night. Came the next day, and she didn't want a combine. I said, why not? She says, because everybody knows I'm the combine operator, and they'll all think that I did that. So like I say, she's got a little bit of a pride complex about her, but that's good too. That way she takes good care of stuff that she's running. I appreciate that. So anyway, once in a while we'll have a mishap. I better not say I'll have a mishap, and she'll remind me of it. So that's how that goes. But otherwise, so far the corn's been running, you know, it says 20.4% average on our monitor on the combine. I just kind of round that up to be on the safe side, so I plugged in 21% on the dryer to get it started. And overall, we started out in a fairly dry spot here too, so far it's saying a 170 average. So I don't know how this will go. 170 probably isn't too bad for the little bit of rain that we ended up with. Outside of that 2 inches that we had that didn't even fill up the cracks. We got huge cracks in the field yet. Probably isn't too bad, but I gotta admit this corn is starting to go down a big hard wind, and it's probably not going to look too good. So we just got to pay for the drying to get this thing out of here, and hope the other hybrids. I hadn't checked all the Pioneer hybrids. I checked, look fine. I have one other decal hybrid that looks like it might be a concern too, but it's 102 day, and I'm afraid it's going to be pretty wet. So I really almost hate to go into that and do it, but I'll have to check that right after we're done with this, I guess, and see where we're at. But so far, that's our start here. Let's get this rolling and take a little bit of footage, and you can see how it's going. I just stepped out here for a second just to show you what I mean. As you can see, these stalks, they are, I'll give you a view here. You can see these stalks are pushing over, and it gets worse in some areas. Here we got some stalks even laying on the ground. Here's more, and that's the way it is throughout the field. And then we'll get into an area that isn't so bad again, but that's why she wants to get this up before. She's got half of it on the ground, and she's trying to crawl along really slow, trying to pick it all up. It's just a very stressful situation. Check, see how the dryer's doing here. On the dryer here, we've got a discharge moisture set point of 16%, and then it says it's actually coming out at 15.9 right now at 123 degrees. Everything seems to be running pretty good. I'm using the 16%. I actually like to get it to 14, but today it's supposed to be about 90 degrees out, so at 90 degrees we get the air going on the bottom of that bin, and it's going to be down to 14% by the time that's dried down. 1 year ago I had asked for one improvement to my drying system, for way up on top to have a safety cage. I'll show you how far that got. they brought the cage. Cage just isn't up there at all. So I texted them this morning, gave them a bad time about it. Not a huge deal, but it'd be kind of nice to have. We're going to have a cage around the ladder, and then that would be the platform there. But we'll have to see if we can still get it up by maybe next year. Who knows? They're here later on, put it up. I'll give you an update on that too. I've had lots of problems with squirrels around here, raccoons, deer, you name it. We got it around here. And so we'll have things like half-eaten ears of corn on the ground from this nice ash tree that they like to climb. And we've got all eaten ears of corn. But what in the world is that? And what kind of critter would take up some kind of a tree root and bring it up here by this ash tree? Now that is a new one for me. I've never seen that before. Look at what came out of my air tube. It's a tube that sends corn way up into the bin. And somewhere in that tube, a squirrel happened to get into it. There's the curled up body. There's the tail. I don't know what he did, if he chewed off his tail or what happened. I started up the air system to check it out the other day, and that flew out of there. I have no idea how it got in there. Either that, or I'm going to have to find some type of a cover on the top to make sure another one doesn't have the same fate as that poor thing did. Squirrels can be a nuisance, but sure hate to see them die that way. Well, that's going to have to do it for this crop update, or combining update, harvest update. I don't care what you want to call it. My wife had to go for an appointment, so I'm on my own for a couple of hours. We did get into some lower ground there that it was going as high as 230, 240 down in that lower ground, so that should help bring that average up. Otherwise we're averaging 165 according to the monitor, but the moisture down there was 22, 23% as well. So it's supposed to be 90 degrees. It's starting to feel like it, so it should take a lot of fuel to run the dryer today. So until we get on to some soybeans, I don't really have time for editing these videos. It's just the two of us in this operation, so I just put them up there. It is what it is. I can't make them fancy. Don't have the time for that, so I'll get her up here as soon as I can, and then we'll get on to a soybean update, harvest update when I get to it, when the beans are ready to go. Thanks for joining us. We'll see ya.